beams in which the Lancers would love to make some progress in the standings and clamber back atop the Western Conference. Forsbacka Karlsson going to take this opening faceoff for Omaha as the puck is down, and we are underway in the first period of this one. Youngstown wins the opening draw, and they'll nudge into their offensive zone in the opening moments of a scoreless first period. Forsbacka Karlsson angling ahead to Randolph. Big collision there as Jake and Tommy Perrin went tumbling to the ice. Turned over back to the Omaha backline. We're regrouping in their own zone. It goes from Johnson to Pullman near side. And the Lancers will recollect themselves and churn again as Forsbacka Karlsson swings off the base of the near circle, receives this pass, and he's off to the races. Touching off glass at center. They're going to call this icing as Forsbacka Karlsson was about a stride shy, and so that's our first stoppage just 34 seconds into the period. So Youngstown, despite their position in the standings at the base of the Eastern Conference, they've got two of the very, very top scorers in the USHL on their roster this year, Kyle Connor and J.J. Patinich. And a face-off left side of the offensive zone for Youngstown, controlled by Trey Bradley, returning from injury there, and stuffed deep on the left point by Matt Miller. Twisted in the far corner of the Lancers zone. Johnson to Pullman again behind the net, and up the right side now Luca Frigo can't control. Miller angles in on the backhand. Approaching the 1 minute mark in a scoreless opening frames here. Lancers force a turnover, now 12 than any other unit in the league this year. So some opportunity for some great offense for the Lancers. But it's Youngstown controlling a faceoff in their own zone, charging while down a skater into their offensive end. 17:55 remaining, first period, no score. Lancers looking to change that as they're on their first power play. Breakout afoot as this one comes from behind. It's Johnson ahead to Randolph, leaves for Pullman to swoop into the offensive zone. Turnover in the right circle there, and Youngstown again clears all the way down. Phantoms going to change some of their power players. The bench for Youngstown might look familiar as Anthony Noreen, third-year head coach, joined by one of his assistants, Michael Zucker. You might remember that name from a stint for 2 years as an assistant coach here in Omaha under Bliss Littler. Lancers now with just 1:10 remaining on the power play. His big scrum in the right corner of the offensive end is held up in the right point as Johnson pinches there. Now down the wall and into the corner below the goal line. Randolph to Frigo on his forehand. Fed up to the left point. That's Pullman. Right side Johnson wanted the return feed Pullman, but it's off to the top of the right circle for Randolph. Working around the perimeter here, Randolph angles into the corner there, intended for Frigo, off the boards, off the outside of the net, and now again lunged for below the goal line by Forsbacka Karlsson before Randolph twists right point for Johnson. Time ticking down to the power play, now 35 seconds left from the man advantage. Still no score, early first period here. Lancers win a draw, 4-on-4 out to the left point of their offensive zone. Saucered over the stick of his intended target there by Pullman. Handled in the near corner by Forsbacka Karlsson. Looked like he stepped on a stick there for Truman Reed, and back to his feet now. Retreating at center, here's Pullman and Johnson dealing with a 2-on-2 entry from Zach Avansho. Turned over near corner. Johnson up the right side, and out of the box now comes Henderson. Lancers head to the power play. Long hammer drive off Hawkey's blocker there. And the Lancers are to the man advantage now for the second time with 1:25 remaining on that. Here's Frigo at neutral ice. Tips off left side. Randolph into the offensive zone. Dropped it for Frigo. Frigo with room. Tees up. Johnson the one-timer. Tipped and a save, Romeo. And still up for grabs as it's cleared timidly by Youngstown back to center. Great chance for the Lancers. Not only do they set up the one-timer for Johnson, but the tip came through a screen. Romeo fought it off. Play back around into the offensive end. Far side corner to near it bounces. Youngstown over for a peek. They're touching around Pullman, but hanging in there is Tucker, and eventually keeping this one in the offensive zone, Randolph. Now Johnson left point, off to Pullman in the middle, get a fire, and that one snared by Romeo, not sure he ever. Touch back into the offensive zone to the center circle, Pullman hoists this one near corner, icing waved off, and 1-0 Omaha thanks to Ryan Tate's 12th from Williams and Nelson, just shy of midway. Into the offensive zone, long shot there, right pad save, Hayden Hawkey. That one not much to worry about off the stick of Kiefer Sherwood. Lancers though with speed. Tate, your goal scorer, off to the top of the near circle O zone for Johnson. Wanted to shoot, instead pops this one deep, and then it's cycled behind the net by Williams. Gathered in by Tate as he's able to hacksaw to the far point. Running into his man Sherwood there was Pullman, and then a long wrister from Pullman saved by Romeo, but unable to control the rebound. Still up for grabs in the offensive zone for Omaha. Through the legs of not one but two players, and taken by Johnson for a dump deep into the near side corner. Now, again, quick change for the penalty-killing unit there, and off the bench comes Randolph and Worden with Johnson and Pullman. Into the offensive zone. This one carried coast to coast by Sherwood, dealing there with Randolph along the Lancers' end wall. Loose in the near doorstep there. Hawkey fought it off with the shoulder blade. A 1-0 Lancer advantage. A play that was very dangerous for a moment. Face-off controlled in the O-zone by Youngstown. Top of the near circle, Sherwood. That shot blocked, though, as it stepped into there by Gage Huff. And back out for a clear down. This one trickles all the way. He's extra revved up. Turned into that goal, I suppose. Also, your out-of-town scores, courtesy of No Frills Supermarkets. All that and more coming up in the Lawlers intermission report between periods 1 and 2. Right now, 1-0 Lancers. 6:10 remaining in the first. As Omaha back to 5-on-5. They've killed off Angelo's minor, and it's Angelo that now works hard on the forecheck on the right side of his offensive zone. From his knees, came away with possession, then slugged in front by Jordan, and Henderson in the slot couldn't handle it. Back out right point, this is Johnson, a drive, and that wrister through traffic, blockered away by Romeo, and twisted to center by the Phantoms. Inside of 6 minutes to go in the period, Pullman delays and then connects with Johnson on a D-to-D as they were forced all the way behind the net in their defensive zone. Good patience shown by Johnson. Waits for space, then takes advantage. Streaks forward into his offensive end, right wing side. And his offhand drives down low, pulls to the forehand, and he scores! Johnson went coast to coast, climbed the ladder on Romeo and found pay dirt. It's 2-0 Lancers. 14:30 in the first period. Steven Johnson with poise, with composure, and with aplomb connects on his fourth goal of the year, 27th point. It'll come from Pullman as Johnson pulled to the forehand, stuffed it under the bar. Into his offensive end, down to his knees as he collided on the inboards in the Youngstown zone. Tangled up under a Phantoms player. Referee lets him go as the play continues, and now Youngstown's taking a penalty as well behind. Lancers challenge into their offensive end. Back out right side. Tate leaves for Johnson. Johnson wanted to connect with Pullman on a one-timer. Now pivots and shoots, and he scores from all the way out. It's a laser for Steve Johnson. His second of the game, and the Lancers have a 3-0 lead on another power play goal. Fifth of the year for Johnson, second of the period. 2:41 remains in the frame, and the Lancers have a 3-0 lead, and they've got a pair of power play goals. Johnson had that puck in the center blue, and himself recovers, connects with Jordan into his offensive zone, fires on, blocker save Romeo, on bounding high into the air, and now knifed over top the near circle. Pullman fires, and that one hit Miller in front and hurt him. He is not in a good place right now as Miller, and he doesn't have enough on that right arm to even get this puck out of the zone as he heads for a change immediately. And an ice pack, maybe an amputation in order on that one. This one dribs in front of the Youngstown net, and now taking behind, stepping up the right side. It's dealt there for Lechunov. And unable to poke around Johnson. Finally, this one squibs behind the Omaha net. Just over 1 minute remaining here. First period, Lancers lead 3-0. A Tate goal on the power play. And then two Johnson tallies, one at even strength, one with the extra man. And that's the margin right now for Omaha. Up the joined by Frigo with the defensive pairing of Johnson, who has 2 goals tonight already, and Tucker Pullman. Players at center, the puck is down, and we are underway in the second period of this one. One back by Youngstown and dumped in off the stick of Josh Melnick from the right side. Behind the net, Pullman had that one bounced high in the air and then reached out his free hand to pin it. First pocket Carlson on the draw, right side of his own end. He wins it to Pullman. And he'll meander behind the net before reversing under the grasp of Johnson. And over for a look there, it's big Alfred Larson. As at 1:31 of the second period, the second to back-to-back Youngstown goals goes to Avancho. And it's now 3-2. And so the Lancers, dazed a bit by the 2x4 that just hit him in the side of the cranium. And they're now looking to respond. And boy, do they almost ever, as a scramble in the net mouth there, still has players in the blue paint, as Romeo was able to keep it out. Held in top of the near circle, it's Jordan now out center blue. Pullman touches to Johnson, flings one towards the net there, and it just misfired as it goes wide and left, and now played on a step in by Pullman into the corner where Youngstown recovers. Lancers give up 2 lightning-fast goals here to start the second period. Entered the frame up 3-0, now up just 3-2 as Youngstown has given themselves more than a fighting chance. Here's Stork twisting in from the right side. First one there, controlling and angling back. Long shot, Reed, and that one nearly deflected as it goes wide and held in on the left point. D Bradley to Reed, touched off, high slot for a shot there. That one stepped into off the stick of Spezia, and now he recovers to feed out to Miller, fluttering puck on, and that one just wide right of Hockey, and then a near wraparound for Lemeron, goes back out to the left point. Phantoms are feeling it right now. One-timer for Miller, missed by a country mile, and now covered up back out there for Omaha. D, Johnson left side, puts one right on, saved by Romeo. Enters twice. They're up 3-2. Face off one back left point again for Omaha. Johnson had his shot blocked before it got through. Tate recovers, stuffs on the cycle. Frida Williams in the slot. Williams with room, shoots. Romeo the save and the rebound as it bounced off his right shoulder. 2 quick goals for the Phantoms to start the second, have them right back into this hockey game. Face off in the Omaha zone following a puck out of play, controlled by Omaha. Looked like a slew foot there on Forsbacka Carlson, but no call, and a quick regroup is taken up ice by Tucker Pullman. Won't see that every day. Taken from Pullman. Shot through Johnson. Got enough of the defenseman to deflect to the near corner without incident. Chased after there on the left side. 4 players battle as Frigo finds Forsbacka Carlson. As now behind the net, Randolph continues to control the puck for Omaha. Swings through the slot there. Pass came right back to him as it was blocked. Randolph working very hard to try and get it to the point, and eventually this one bounces through everybody all the way down into the Omaha zone. Jimmy Schultz just shot a puck right into the back line, and Mackey there for Youngstown. And now ahead, here's Worden. Pooley and Worden there on a 2-on-1. Puck is loose, no one can control, and finally Youngstown does, and they'll distribute up the right side. Here's Pekinich into the slot there for Connor. Johnson steps in to intercept, though. And here's Louis Rowe up to the left side for Worden into the offensive end. Tried to center that one. Rowe, though, recovers on a deflected play. Worden, but turned over and now taken by Bradley into the corner where he's ridden down. Remaining here, second period, Omaha 4-2 on Youngstown. But the Phantoms, they're not going anywhere. A stout, dense effort all night from them, and it continues as they change after that flick deep in the Omaha zone. Johnson misplayed one. His reward, an Avancho hit. And now Spezia dancing across his offensive blue line, stepped over, and we'll have immediate timeout. Up for the Lancers here, and so thankful that you've tuned in from afar as well here in the mighty 1290. Lancers leading this thing again, 4-2 on Youngstown. Control the draw outside their own blue line, then surrender possession to Sherwood and Youngstown. Now behind the net with speed, but precision. Tucker Pullman connects on a breakout right side with Jacob Forsbacka Carlson. Luca Frigo now chases after in the offensive blue line. Taken by Sherwood, but Forsbacka Carlson persists into the near corner of his own zone. Behind the net there to Randolph, spins off a hit, tries to send one in front, loose in the low slot, and Frigo tapped wide of the cage. When you're in that tight, you can't really think about it. You can't really plan out your approach. You just put stick on puck and hope for the best. And right there, Frigo misfired by about a quarter of an inch. Huge hit behind the play as the teeth went chattering on Spezia on the Youngstown end. Finally nudged free and poked to center. Tumbling down there was Schultz. Back on his feet as Johnson carried past him and hoisted that one to the cross corner. From behind the net, here's Angelo. Angelo off Henderson, near side, sent it right off the right toe of Romeo. There was daylight there for Jake Henderson and just barely missed. Now stepping up, Mackey intercepts a pass from Angelo intended for Henderson into his offensive zone. Spins away from Johnson, but intercepting his dump down was Pullman. And now this one flung to Henderson, turned over. Pekinich, right wing, into the offensive zone. Leaves behind, that's Connor, and thankfully he bobbled it. And stepping into it is Johnson in the left side of his own end. 6:20 remaining in the second period. 4-2. Lancers on top thanks to the second Ryan Tate goal tonight, coming earlier this frame. Out to the left point, now in the high slot. Working with it there, looking for options. Kyle Connor leaves on the right point. That one intercepted by a quick stick from Zach Jordan. And up ice if they hurry, a 2-on-1. They get a 3-on-1 as Jordan steps left side, but Omaha is offside. Outstate Husky sends the Lancers back up ice. Just 45 seconds remaining in their fourth power play for Omaha. Leading 4-2, looking to extend that lead to 3 goals here. But they're running out of time, and the man up. 3:30 remaining in the second period. Here's Steven Johnson. Right point now connects with Pullman as the Lancers have the number 1 unit out there. To the center blue, it's Johnson again. Steven Johnson off to Randolph. Randolph collects. Back to Johnson. Tape to tape into the far corner there for Frigo. Into the slot. Wanted to tee up Forsbacka Carlson, but intercepted, cleared down by Youngstown. And it looks like the Lancers power play will tick away without bearing any fruit. 10 seconds remaining on it. It's from behind the net, Johnson. Right side for Forsbacka Carlson into the offensive zone. Into the slot there for Randolph. Out high side. Frigo with no one home, and he blasted it high as it goes off end glass. Penalty is over. Out to the blue line for Johnson. His shot was blocked. Connor took over, but Johnson holds the zone. And now in the high slot, Frigo into the offensive zone. Round the corner there. Now behind the net, pumping with his left leg. Still has it on the back end. He's gone completely around the zone here and then leaves off left point for Johnson. Tried to return to Williams, and now a puck popped in the air. Played out of midair by Tate, but ultimately settled by Matt Miller. Dumped by Spezia right side. 20 seconds left in the period. Lancers looking to head into the break up 4-2. Long shot went wide of Hawkey, now picked up by Gage Huff. 10 seconds left in the period. Into the offensive zone. Stepped around a man, did Tate. He's taken down. Puck pops into the glove of Romeo. A comfortable pair. Face off right side. 7 seconds left. Into the far corner for Youngstown. They hammer up. Held in right point by Johnson. Flicked towards the net by Frigo. As the final second ticks away, the horn sounds, and we are through 2 periods at Ralston Arena with the Lancers on top of the Youngstown Phantoms by a score of 4-2. 5 to begin. Lancers on top again. 4-2 with Forsbacka Carlson on the draw against Spezia. The puck is down at center, and we are underway in the third and final period of regulation here. Lancers control the draw as Pullman touches ahead. Forsbacka Carlson for a right wing entry. Flutters that one towards the net. Gloved at there by Romeo as the puck drifted over the cage and out of the far corner board. Cycled around near side for Luca Frigo. Popped into the low slot there, but no one home for Omaha to tap on net. And now chipped by Pekinich up for Spezia. And again quickly fly swatted by the Omaha back line to center where Frigo connects in stride with Johnson. Here's Johnson firing in search of that hat trick there and missed that wrister off end glass. Just underway, 35 seconds or thereabouts into this third period. Lancers up 4-2 on the Youngstown Phantoms. Long bouncing play on the blue line there for Youngstown, picked up by Spezia, and he sends a cannonading slapper off shin pads, high off end glass for control by Nicholas Foley. Just across the 1 minute mark, here's third period. Lancers up 4-2. Ryan Tate with speed, cuts back to his forehand, right dot, right on Romeo. High rebound in the air, and finally tracked with the blocker and guided for a pickup by Youngstown as Stewart carries to center. Just play here. Not many whistles at all this third period. Already 6 minutes gone by, 14-17 remaining in the third, and it's still 4-2 Omaha. Shots 23-17 Lancers. He tumbled down on the left wing entry. Melnick couldn't send this one up cleanly to Larson, but now 2 players after a 50-50 behind the net. Nelson riding off his man into the far corner, and now 3 black jerseys and 2 white jerseys, all grappling for possession to the left of Hayden Hawkey. Already into the middle stages of the third. 12.5 minutes remaining here in regulation. No scoring this period whatsoever for either side. Sherwood stepped into Forsbacka Carlson. I think he caught him on the blind side there a little bit, so perhaps just ever so slightly dazed. A chance to collect himself on the bench as taking his time behind the net here. Sherwood bluffing a forecheck, and Steven Johnson stepping out to the left side. Connected there with Tucker Pullman. Tried to sharply angle one off the dasher for his winger. Starting up ice, that was Tate. Intercepted by Youngstown. Into their offensive zone, stepping deep. Connor drops one in front, and now kicked into the far corner. Pekinich couldn't control. Back out right side. Fanned on would-be one-timer for Reed, and Ryan Tate has it. Off to the right wing side for Gage Huff. Johnson joining the rush there, tapping his stick. Steve Johnson a little bit more involved in the offensive ends here than normal. He's got 2 goals tonight, and he kind of seems like he's hungry for a third. In a second at 3-2, it's now 4-2. No scoring this period either way, but the Lancers still in control, up by a pair. Face off left side of the O-zone for Omaha after the media timeout. Hacked by Youngstown all the way down. Little poke there for Steven Johnson as he couldn't cleanly leave his own end. Now Anthony Angelo going to try to do so as it ticks off the stick of Jake Henderson at center. And bounces down for a little charge by Pullman onto the right side. Wedged through the base of the slot there. And then falling at center, Sherwood will head to the penalty kill for the 4th time tonight. They're 2 for 3. And now it is Youngstown with a chance to tally their second power play goal of the game. And while most of this period is ticked by unassumingly, make no mistake, this is a powerful Youngstown power play, and one more goal puts them within a goal, heading into the single digits of minutes remaining in this hockey game. 8:38 remaining in the third. Lancers up 4-2, down a man for another minute and a half. Youngstown controls into their offensive end, turned it over to Steven Johnson, though, and nice performances, but inconsistency. And that's pretty much been them in a nutshell in this hockey game. Lancers win a draw in their own zone. Meanwhile, Omaha's trademark, as it has been all year, most of the year, has been execution and performance. And that's also been there tonight for a team that has a pair of power play goals and a 4-2 lead late in the third. 7.5 minutes left as Youngstown, after the Lancers cleared following a D-zone face-off, are right back to work in their offensive end. Stork around to the right point. Pella thought about a shot, thinks better of it. Now off to Stork, top of the far circle, curls into the high slot. Back to the far side corner now. Running into Lechinov is Pullman. He's got one hand on the stick, the other around the midsection there. Lucky he got away without a holding call leveled against him. Johnson is being plugged up there by Lemeron. Now a shot from the left point. Mackey right through for an easy save by Hawkey. Out of the box comes Jordan. For a moment hesitated at center, thinking that if the Lancers had possession, he could get a breakaway pass. Go between two defenders and into the high slot. Tucker Pullman there on the backhand. He's going to pop that to the far corner. Now inside of 5 minutes remaining in the game. 4:54 left in the third. Youngstown gets free, and they'll just send this all the way down. It'll be icing immediately following our game broadcast. Shot for Johnson from the left point off a face-off win. Rebound was there, and I don't know how. First child here early in the month of April, we're told, or is it May? And so a little baby shower action there, always delicious over at Maria's in Ralston. 2:21 remaining in the third. 4-2, the Lancers on top of the Youngstown Phantoms. They want to keep it that way, but Youngstown has pulled the goaltender and are now 6-on-5 in their offensive zone. So a bold move by Anthony Noreen with more than 2 minutes left in the game. Down by 2, why not? So Sean Romeo's night is done in essence, and now 6 players jammed behind the Omaha net. It's freed up to the left side point. Bradley sloughs over right side, shot by Pella, partially blocked, drifts behind the cage. Connor dances free of Johnson for a moment, and now steps up to feed Pella on the right point. Pella D-to-D, top of the left circle. That's Bradley into the near side circle there for Pekinich, and it's lifted by Henderson out to center. Zach Jordan going to be the first one to touch. Can he hit the empty net? He can! He scores!